So the last week was pretty slow for me. Nothing super momentous, just work for the most part. Mocha pot coffee. Cheapo espresso. About the only thing worth noting, I did get the second dose of the Pfizer vaccine this week. Pretty much the feedback from everybody was that people got more side effects, part of it's to be expected. With the second dose, I will say with the first dose, really all I had was the arm soreness, and it was nothing more than kind of like a flu shot, kind of arm sore. So I had that again. I would say it might have been a little bit worse this time, but for about a day and a half, I did get like a headache, felt fatigued, had some kind of chills off and on, had some body aches. So thankfully I got it right after I'd finished a stretch on at work, and I had the weekend to kind of chill and relax, so I didn't really have to do anything. So I just kind of stayed in and let the side effects take its course. Very mild for me. Certainly wasn't limiting anything. I know some of my coworkers had a lot worse side effects, mostly GI stuff from what I've kind of gathered. But still pretty mild. Could be worse, right? But it's done, and here's hoping the immunity boost lasts for a while. Aside from me personally this week, I think it's worth noting, since this is a vlog, the kind of historic events of the last week. I'm sure a lot of folks are kind of tired of hearing about it, but it's a vlog, so we should mention it. I consider myself, for the most part, to be kind of apolitical, for better or worse, responsible or irresponsible. As part of my minimalist kind of journey many years ago now, I pretty much cut out politics altogether. But watching as things have unfolded for the last 4 years, and particularly the last year, and specifically with the COVID response, it brought me to vote again for the first time since Bush. My previous little deal with myself being that it seemed kind of irresponsible to vote without doing proper and in-depth research on the candidates. And in more reflection, it seemed like a waste of time and of life to spend a lot of time doing that research. I'd also kind of throw myself in the general category of being just kind of disillusioned with the corruption and the inefficacy on both sides of the aisle. So the trade-off being that if I wasn't going to vote, I also wasn't going to complain about the results or the outcome. I find I'm increasingly aware of the dangers of confirmation bias, especially in the age of social media with YouTube and Facebook and the like. And I like to keep that in mind and to be aware of that. There's a good kind of podcast documentary series called The Rabbit Hole that's on Apple Podcasts that's worth a listen for that. It's like an eight episode short series. It's really good. It kind of opens your mind about being aware of what you consume. But I felt like I observed enough, specifically over the last year, that I felt I really had to participate in this election this year. So I have no intention to make this content about politics or political, and nobody cares about my political views one way or the other. But just in historic terms, I think it's worth noting the events of the last week, kind of the crowning culmination to the insanity that has been 2020. And so when I saw the footage, I immediately thought of this clip.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, I stabbed a man in the heart.
I saw that. Brick killed a guy. Did you throw a trident?
Yeah, there were horses and a man on fire, and I killed a guy with a trident.
Brick, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. You should find yourself a safe house or a relative close by. Lay low for a while, because you're probably wanted for murder.
That's it. That's all. That's my commentary on it. That's as much as I'm going to say. There's more than enough people talking about this, and way more well-informed than I am about it. So we're going to keep moving forward. Fingers crossed on 2021. It's going to be a good year. This couple of weeks, get it down, get it done, moving on. I'm still working on the top 10 things I want to do in 2021 when things get back to normal. Didn't get that finished for this week, so maybe look forward to that next week. And until then, see you later. Have a great week.